A little girl, no older than 5, sits huddled in the remnants of a bombed-out building. Her eyes, wide with terror, reflect the orange glow of fires raging in the distance. She hasn't eaten in days. She doesn't know where her parents are. This is her reality. This scene, tragically, is not from a movie. It's the stark reality for countless children in war-torn regions of the Middle East and Africa. While we go about our lives enjoying the comfort of peace and security, they are trapped in a nightmare. It's easy to forget about them, to distance ourselves from the horrors they face every single day, but their suffering is real. Their stories deserve to be heard. We turn on the news and are bombarded with images of conflict, explosions, destruction, heartbreak. We shake our heads, feeling a pang of sadness, maybe even anger. Then we change the channel. We go back to our lives. The world feels safe again. But the world is not safe for everyone. While we enjoy the privilege of peace, millions live in constant fear. They live with the knowledge that at any moment their lives could be shattered. A bomb could fall, a bullet could fly, their loved ones could disappear. In Yemen, children are dying from starvation. Their tiny bodies, ravaged by hunger, are a searing indictment of our collective failure to act. In Syria, families huddle in makeshift shelters, the cold seeping into their bones. They have lost everything: their homes, their livelihoods, their hope. In Somalia, the threat of violence is a constant shadow. People are forced to flee their homes, becoming refugees in their own land. They live in overcrowded camps, struggling to survive with limited access to food, water, and medical care. The physical wounds of war are easy to see, the shattered buildings, the injured bodies, but the invisible wounds run much deeper. The trauma of war leaves an indelible mark on the human psyche. Imagine living with the constant fear of death. Imagine seeing your loved ones killed before your very eyes. Imagine having to flee your home, leaving behind everything you've ever known. This is the reality for millions of innocent civilians caught in the crossfire of conflict. Section 5. Children of conflict. Children, the most vulnerable among us, are often the hardest hit by war. They witness horrors no child should ever have to see. They lose their parents, their siblings, their friends. Their education is disrupted. Their childhoods are stolen. These children are not just victims of war. They are at risk of becoming a lost generation. They are scarred by trauma, haunted by memories, and robbed of the opportunity to reach their full potential. Section 6. Echoes of trauma. The psychological toll of war doesn't end when the bombs stop falling. The invisible wounds of trauma can linger for years, even decades. Post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and survivor's guilt are just a few of the challenges faced by those who have lived through the horrors of conflict. These individuals need our support. They need access to mental health care, counseling, and rehabilitation services. They need to know that they are not forgotten, that their pain is real, and that healing is possible. Section 7. A world of difference. The disparity is staggering. While some children are tucked safely into bed, dreaming of toys and adventures, others are lying awake, listening to the sound of gunfire and bombs. While some families sit down to enjoy a meal together, others are struggling to find enough food to survive. This is the stark reality of our world. We cannot in good conscience continue to turn a blind eye to the suffering of millions. We cannot allow ourselves to become desensitized to the horrors of war. Section 8. The urgency of now. The time for action is now. We cannot afford to wait for another tragedy, another headline, another statistic. We must demand that our leaders prioritize peace, diplomacy, and the protection of civilians. We must hold those responsible for war crimes accountable. We must provide humanitarian aid to those in need. We must work tirelessly to create a world where all children can grow up in safety and security. Section 9. A call to humanity. The victims of war are not just numbers on a page. They are human beings with hopes, dreams, and the right to live in peace. Their stories are a powerful reminder of our shared humanity and our responsibility to care for one another. Let us not forget them. Let us raise our voices in solidarity. Let us work together to build a world where peace is not a privilege, but a right enjoyed by all.